On Global TV News Prime, President Bola Tinubu conferred with highest honor. In business, United States Africa Summit yields $2.5 billion in new trade deals. And in business, United Nations says Iran aid budget will need to double post-war. And in sport, Abdulrazak gifts Kwara United players 5 million naira plots of land. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television. Coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. Now the news in full. The Nigerian Senate has postponed the Northwest Zonal public hearing on the review of the 1999 Constitution scheduled for this weekend in Kano. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, said the postponement is in honor of Alhaji Aminu Dantata, who died on Sunday. Kikelomo Okere has details.
Briefing his colleagues, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says his deputy, who is the chairman Committee on Constitution Review, Jibril Barao, is in Saudi Arabia for the burial rites of the late philanthropist. He says the hearing will be held on a later date as agreed by stakeholders in the region.
The Senate resolved to observe 1 minute silence in honor of the late Alhaji Aminu Dantata, and also resolved to postpone the Zonal Constitutional Conference of the Northwest to a date to be mutually agreed between the stakeholders of the Northwest as soon as the Deputy Senate President is back from Saudi Arabia.
Akpabio, however, explained that the public hearing on the review of the Constitution will take place in the remaining 5 geopolitical zones. According to the timetable, the exercise will take place in Borno, Plateau, Enugu, Akwa Ibom, and Lagos states, respectively. Kikelomo Okere, Global Television News.
President Bola Tinubu has conferred an honorary knighthood by the government of St. Lucia during his state visit to the country. The title Knight Commander of the Order of St. Lucia was approved by the Governor General of St. Lucia after advice from Prime Minister Philip J. Perry, as announced by the office of the country's Prime Minister. The visit marks the first stop in his 2-nation tour of the Caribbean and South America. President Bola Tinubu has commissioned the newly constructed Collector Road CNS, Asukwo Okon Street from Arterial Road 5N, Obafemi Awolowo Way to Arterial Road N1, and other road connected in Dakibio District. The president was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima. Our FCT correspondent Godwin Sunday has details.
The rains came clapping, thunders resounding as Dakibio, Jabi and its environs came alive to the commissioning of the newly constructed road by President Bola Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima. The road network, lights, drainage and telecommunication enhancements are milestones that will serve as a benchmark for the FCT development. While speaking at the commissioning, President Bola Tinubu, represented by the Vice President Kashim Shettima, reiterated the government's commitment to the improvement of infrastructures across Nigeria.
The dividends of this project are immediate and enduring. Commutes will shorten, congestions will ease, and most critically, livelihoods will flourish. Shops will open, markets will thrive, children will reach school faster, emergency services will arrive quicker. This is what we mean when we speak of renewed hope.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike thanked the president for his support and called for more support.
Your Excellency, there's no way to talk much, but to thank you for your continued support and continue to solicit for more support.
Godwin Sunday, reporting for Global Television News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, that is INEC, has met with resident electoral commissioners from across the country to finalize preparations and ensure a transparent, inclusive, and secure electoral process. Kabir Hassan has details.
With key elections drawing near, it was a crucial strategy session at the INEC headquarters in Abuja as the Commission's chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, met with residents electoral commissioners to review progress on logistic arrangements, security and voters education campaign.
You also need to provide us with information on your plans to enhance voter access to polling units by decongesting some of them, or in other areas such as the cleaning up of the voters register. You can only effectively discharge your responsibilities when you are knowledgeable and committed. I encourage you to intensify your effort so that we will play our part in what is a multi-stakeholder responsibility more effectively.
The meeting focused on 4 major issues: preparation for the upcoming FCT area council election, pending by-election in 16 constituencies, off-cycle governorship election, and the resumption of nationwide voters registration.
The Commission is holding 5 major elections. These are the by-elections in 12 states of the Federation on 16th of August 2025, the Anambra State Governorship election on 8th November 2025, the area council elections in the Federal Capital Territory on 21st February 2026, the Ekiti State Governorship election on 20th June 2026, and the Osun State Governorship election on the 8th of August 2026.
INEC also stressed the need for enhanced collaboration with security agencies, urging that the citizens, electoral officers, and materials be adequately protected across all election zones. As political activities intensifies, the Commission assured Nigerians of its determination to conduct credible elections while reminding political actors to comply with the rules governing campaign activities and voters' engagement. For Nigerians, INEC and its resident electoral commissioners remain the spotlight to deliver on their mandate. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has assured core members of security in the state, saying that more security operatives have been deployed to the state. Alia warned heads of government ministries, departments and agencies against the rejection of core members posted to them. He gave the warning during the closing ceremony of the 2025 Batch A Stream 2 orientation course at the National Youth Service Corps Camp in Wanune, Taka local government area of the state. The House of Representatives says it will investigate Nigeria's outstanding debt of 1.2 million euros to Organization of African, Caribbean and Pacific States. It is reported that Nigeria, like other member states, is expected to contribute financially to the Organization of Africa, Caribbean and Pacific States budget and various development programs. However, reports suggest that Nigeria has struggled to meet these financial obligations consistently, potentially hindering the organization's operations and implementation of projects. The federal government has set August 1, 2025 as the deadline to begin issuing of stiff penalties to foreigners who have overstayed their visas. Minister of Interior Dr. Olubomi Tunji Ojo disclosed this at a stakeholder sensitization on major Nigerian immigration service innovations in international passenger travel at the service headquarters in Abuja. However, it opened an online immigration amnesty portal in July to allow affected individuals to regularize their stay before the penalty takes effect. The acting national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Umar Damagum, says it has unanimously endorsed Samuel Anyanwu as the national secretary of the party. Speaking at the extended caucus and the PDP's Board of Trustees meeting held at the party's national secretariat in Abuja, the party's acting national chairman, Umar Damagum, stated that all members should be good ambassadors of the party. The acting national chairman, Damagum, noted that as party faithfuls, everyone has a responsibility to contribute to rebuilding the party instead of demarketing it. Addressing the press, Damagum said the appointment of Anyanwu as the acting national secretary is part of the resolution from the closed-door meeting of the National Executive Council.
We've all converged in one, we were all together and we all agree that Senator Anyanwu will continue to act as National Secretary and also to bring the issue of convention to bring it up in the next NEC.
Chairman Board of Trustee of the People's Democratic Party, Senator Adolphus Nwabara, and other stakeholders of the party said the party is active, noting that the agreement reached from the meeting will open a new chapter for the PDP.
This party, I repeat again, will never die. I want to thank the National Working Committee of our party for coming together once again, believing that Nigerians have enormous faith and hope in PDP. The gale of leaving us, people leaving the party, are all cosmetic. We are all created to diminish us. But I must thank the leaders and all the organs of the party, especially the DOT, the caucuses of the National Assembly, and most importantly my colleagues, and the NWC, because everything we are doing for the NWC. It is very, very interesting that the various contending tendencies within the party have found some harmony, and that is the reason why we are all here today.
With the crisis in the People's Democratic Party now resolved, it is hoped that it will go into the 2027 general election as a united political front. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News. The Speaker of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS Parliament, Hadjer Ibrahima, has called for a strong legal framework for artificial intelligence development across West Africa. She made the call at a localized meeting of the Parliament's Joint Committee in Dakar, Senegal, focusing on education, science and digital innovation. Represented by Second Deputy Speaker Adjarato Kalibali, Ibrahima said the sub-region must adopt the new learning model to meet global technological demands. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime. When News Prime returns, United Nations says Iran aid budget will need to double following war with Israel. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Stay with us. Welcome back from that break. Now let's quickly take you to the world of business, where the United States says the 17th U.S. African Business Summit yielded more than $2.5 billion in new deals and commitments between U.S. and African partners. The U.S. Department of State said the summit attracted more than 2,700 U.S. and African public and private sector leaders. The department stated that the summit was hosted by the Corporate Council on Africa and the President of Angola, noting this year's summit marked a record turnout, including 12 African heads of state. The African Continental Free Trade Area has created an opportunity for truckers, airliners and other players in the logistic and transportation sector. African Export-Import Bank says about 2.2 million trucks valued at $345 billion will be needed for trade facilitation under the African Continental Free Trade Area between now and 2045. Similarly, 243 aircrafts valued at $25 billion will be required, with 169,000 rail wagons estimated at $36 billion needed for the continental trade. The United Nations agency in Nigeria have emphasized the need for greater investment in the development of micro, small and medium-sized enterprises to drive inclusive economic growth in the country. The call was made during the commemoration of the 2025 International Micro, Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises Day in Abuja. The event was shortly organized by the UN Industrial Development Organization, International Labour Organization, United Nations Development Programme, United Nations Information Center and the World Intellectual Property Organization. The Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development and the Nigerian Air Force have established a committee for finalizing arrangements for the inaugural Nigerian International Air Show slated for December 2025. The ministry stated that it is aimed at bolster national collaboration and development its aerospace workforce. The ministry statement says the decision was formalized during a courtesy visit by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Dr. Ibrahim Abubakar Kana, to the Nigerian Air Force headquarters. Let's take you to the foreign scene where the most senior United Nations official in Iran, Stefan Presner, says the organization's humanitarian and development aid budget will require a doubling following the war with Israel. Uyi Agbomofuegbe completes the story.
Stefan Presner, the United Nations resident coordinator in Iran, said he hoped the international community would step up with more funding. He said this year's UN budget for development and humanitarian affairs in Iran was $75 million, roughly $50 million for refugees and $25 million for the development program.
Our budget last year that we delivered was about $75 million US dollars, 50 million for the refugee crisis, which is, we are always calling for increased burden sharing of the international community to enable us to support this issue more, and about 25 million development program.
Iran hosts the largest number of refugees in the world, around 3.5 million, most of them from Afghanistan. Speaking from Tehran, Presner expressed the hope that aid and development would be seen as separate from other issues and the situation would trigger the international community to increase its support. Uyi Agbomofuegbe reporting for Global TV News.
U.S. senators were in a marathon session of amendment votes as Republicans sought to pass Donald Trump's flagship spending bill, an unpopular package set to slash social welfare programs and add an eye-watering $3 trillion to the national debt. The president wants the bill to extend his expiring first-term tax cut at a cost of $4.5 trillion, boost military spending, and fund his plan for unprecedented mass deportations and border security. Thailand's Constitutional Court has suspended Prime Minister Paetongtarn Shinawatra, who has come under mounting pressure to resign over her leaked phone conversation with former Cambodian leader Hun Sen. The clip in which Paetongtarn called his uncle and criticized a Thai military commander sparked public anger and petition for her dismissal, which the court is now considering. That could make Paetongtarn the third politician in the powerful Shinawatra that is dominated Thai politics for the past 2 decades to lose power before completing their term. A heat wave is continuing to grip Europe as rescuers evacuate 50,000 people in western Turkey, where wildfires are raging. In France, a red alert, the highest extreme heat warning, is on place across 16 departments, including Paris, where the top of the Eiffel Tower is closed. 2 people have died in Italy as temperatures soar, and parts of Portugal and Spain recorded the highest ever June temperatures this week as the mercury hit 46 centigrade. Now in sport, the Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak hosted Kwara United Football Club and the club's under-19 team following their victory in the 2025 President Federation Cup and the inaugural National Youth League respectively. This was disclosed in a statement by the Governor's Chief Press Secretary, Rafiu Ajakaye. Kwara United emerged as the new champions of the President's Federation Cup after beating second-tier side Abakaliki FC 4-3 on penalties. The Ebonyi State Governor, Francis Mwifuru, has rewarded 34 registered players of the Abakaliki Football Club with 1 million naira each after emerging the runner-up in the 2025 President Federation Cup on June 28. The 8-month-old club became the giant killer of the competition after dusting big names such as Enyimba FC of Aba, Nasarawa United of Lafia, among others, en route to the final. Mwifuru, while receiving the players in his office in Abakaliki, also announced a reward of 1 million naira for its head coach and ex-international Ifeanyi Onyedika. As Global TV News Prime comes to an end, let's take a look at our top stories. President Bola Tinubu has been conferred an honorary knighthood by the government of St. Lucia during his state visit to the country. And in business, the United States says the 17th U.S. African Business Summit yielded more than $2.5 billion in new deals and commitments between U.S. and African partners. And on the foreign scene, the most senior United Nations official in Iran, Stefan Prisna, says the organization's humanitarian and development aid budget will require a doubling following the war with Israel. And finally, from the world of sport, the Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdulrazak hosted Kwara United Football Club and the club's under-19 team following their victories in the 2025 President Federation Cup and the inaugural National Youth League, respectively. And that's it on Global TV News Prime. A quick reminder that Global TV is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV NG. Remember that you can also download the Global TV Nigerian app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo, Thank you for watching.